everyone, welcome back to the Book Graveyard Vintage Genre Fiction channel here on YouTube. It's going to be a YouTube video only because we're going to be doing a showcase. We're going to showcase some art books because I just got this in the mail 2 days ago, and it is the brand new Art of Ron Lesser Volume 3 Wild Wild Westerns. This is edited by Robert Dice, Bill Cunningham, and Tim Hewitt. Introduction by James Reesner, Western aficionado. And this is paperback cover art from the, well, pretty much from the 50s up to the current times. Give you a little sampling of what's going on here. There we go. So yeah, this just came out, and I figured, what the heyday? Let's talk about the other two also. So we have Volume 2. This one is called Dangerous Dames and Cover Dolls. And then we got Volume 1. Deadly Dames and Sexy Sirens. This one we did a flip through, but it was a long time ago. There's some stuff from the 60s. So I figured we'd flip through it again and talk about Ron Lesser. And I also wanted to talk about Bob and Bill and the projects that they do, because it's not just these three books that they put out. So I wanted to talk a little bit about them, because I think that if you're unaware of them, they have lots of great output that if you like this channel, you would be very much into. So Bill Cunningham, he owns and runs Pulp 2.0, which publishes comics, books, and magazines, all relating to the vintage pulp aesthetic that we love around here. Pulp 2.0 has a line of books under the Science-Sploitations banner, focusing on exploitation, which you know we love, science fiction, horror, action, adventure genres, and he also publishes comic collections and graphic novels, such as the Mike Shane Private Eye comic collection. And this is something that I had never heard of. It's called Killer, and it's an English translation and an adaptation of the long-lost Chilean spy comic by German Gabler. I think that's how you say that. I don't know. I'm sure I got it wrong. Pulp 2.0 also has novel reprints of rare paperbacks, such as blaxploitation horror novel Brother Blood. Just look at that, by Donald F. Glut. This book was originally published in 1974, and get this, it was only available in Dutch. So Bill got a hold of this, translated it to English, and reprinted it. I gotta get a hold of one of these. This is one I don't have. Bill also does lots of graphic design and layout, including, obviously, these Ron Lesser books and the Men's Adventure Quarterly magazine, which he does with Bob Dice, Robert Dice. I'm just going to call him Bob. That's what I call him. And I'll show off some of those here. I have every issue. It's a wonderful collection that talks about the Men's Adventure magazines from the 50s to the 70s. And good news to all you folks that are attending Pulp Fest, because Bill Cunningham is going to be there as a vendor with all of his Pulp 2.0 stuff. I'm sure he's going to have these Ron Lesser books and the Men's Adventure Quarterlies. So make sure you stop by his table and pick something up. He's a very friendly fella. Stop by and have a chat with him. Very knowledgeable. And just a cool dude. He's a cool... So I've just called you a cool dude, Bill. I hope you don't mind. All right, and then speaking of Bob Dice, who we talked about many times on this channel, Bob runs the MensPulpMags.com website, which is where you can purchase these. these books here, these Ron Lesser books, if you're not going to be at Pulp Fest, you can't buy them in person. Of course, they're also available on Amazon, but I personally like to order the books directly from Bob. He has free shipping, and he will inscribe the books for you. Look at my inscription that he sent me on the new Wild Wild West. Let's see. Look at that. To Nick, from your fan, Bob Dice. Bob is so sweet. I mean, we're manly. No, we're manly. We're not crying. We're not getting in touch with our feelings. Let's move on. So obviously, like I said, Bob does the Men's Adventure Quarterly books and the Ron Lesser books with Bill Cunningham. But then he also does the Men's Adventure Library and Journal series of books with Wyatt Doyle from New Texture. And some of the books that they have put out are also books of art that they've collected from the various issues of Men's Adventure magazines from the 50s to the 70s, with artists such as the Gil Cohen, which we just did that video on. We have a flip through this video. They have a Mort Kunstler here. And I mean, just look at this stuff. Like if you're into action, adventure, and exploitation genres, it's just beautiful artwork there on the Mort Kunstler. And then also George Gross, who also did lots of paperback covers. Here's some of his Men's Adventure magazine stuff, so you can get an idea. There you go. Beautiful, but they don't just do art books. No, sir. They also do collections by some well-known authors and authors that you may not have heard of, such as Lawrence Block. So these are all stories from Lawrence Block that were published in Men's Adventure magazines. And same with Robert Silverberg. Yes, Robert Silverberg wrote very trashy, exploitive stories for these magazines, and this collects them. I have the original of this exotic magazine. And then here's one you might not have heard of, and it's Walter Kalin, who's a very prolific writer in the magazines. I haven't got to that one yet. We're still got to get to it. And then they also do themed collections, such as Man-Eaters here, all shark stories. And of course it has, it has the artwork, but it also has the reprints of the stories, all in nice big text so you can read it. They have The Weird, Atomic Werewolves, Man-Eating Plants. This has a lot of cool stories and has my favorite Theodore Sturgeon story in here, which is it really is a very weird story. And this is the sampler here. Weasels Rip My Flesh. Has a little bit of everything. This is a great place to start. If you're unsure, if you're new to the genre, to the subgenre of Men's Adventure, which by the way, I mean, it's for everybody. It's just action adventure. It's just how it was marketed. That's all it means. Ladies allowed. As you can see, Bob, Bill, and Wyatt are preserving this classic material that would all but be forgotten these days. And I guarantee like 40 years from now, like this output is going to be highly sought after by collectors, by the future collectors. And what they do is imperative to the world of vintage genre fiction. And you're here now. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it and miss the moment that you are in. Go to MensPulpMags.com where you can get all these great books. Also, I have conversations with Bob and Bill and Bob and Wyatt up on the channel. I'll put links up here somewhere. And now let's take a look at these Ron Lesser books. All right, here we go, everybody. The Wild, Wild Westerns. Welcome to the Old West. The Art of Ron Lesser, Volume 3, Wild, Wild Westerns. Available on MensPulpMags.com. Have I mentioned that yet? Also available on Amazon. So, yeah, you order directly from MensPulpMags.com. Bob will inscribe it for you if you like. There's my inscription. And we start off here with a Louis L'Amour quote. It was a hard land and it bred hard men to hard ways. We got a title page here, The Way West, movie and art from 1982. I've never seen it. Kind of looks like Robert Mitchum there. Western folks, is it? All right, so the Art of Ron Lesser Volume 3 is nearly 200 Western paperback covers illustrated by Ron Lesser. We have an intro by Bob Dyson. Here is a second introduction by New York Times best-selling Western novelist James Reesner, who also does the Rough Edges blog, which is a all-Western, vintage Western blog. Or I don't know if it's just vintage, but a Western blog. And here he tells the story of the very first paperback that hooked him. And it was a Ron Lesser cover. And the book was called Arrow in the Dust. There's a picture of it right there. And then, years later, he commissioned Ron Lesser to redo the painting for him. So the very first paperback that hooked him is an original painting just like the cover. Alright, so as you can see here, we got some paperback gold. Reach for gold, paperback gold. That's stupid. So we got, photos of the original paintings for the Western covers. And then they got scans, nice high quality scans of the covers. What's cool about this is we get to see the reference photos, and a lot of them are Steve Holland. And in the book, there is quotes from Ron Lesser, remembrances of doing the paintings this era, and he talks about how some of the publishers would be like, okay, use a different model because Steve Holland is on every cover. So there's nice little tidbits from Ron Lesser himself, who is still alive, still working, as I stated at the beginning. But he doesn't do very many paperback covers anymore. There's just not a market for it. People aren't hiring illustrators for paperback covers. So he does a lot of gallery work. And you'll see some of that in Volume 2 when we get there. But for all you vintage fans, this book is a great resource, especially if you're a Western fan of the books that existed with Ron Lesser's art. And really, it's kind of difficult to state how many covers he's responsible for. He doesn't even know. So as you can see, Ron Lesser painted in the realism style. He was not a fan of the other abstract styles. There's a funny quote from him in Volume 1 that is from an interview that appeared on J. Kingston Pierce's blog, Killer Covers of the Week. And the quote says, "I do not recognize abstract or any other ism as a legitimate form of art, except fine realism." So yeah, you're not going to see any wacky space paintings and psychedelic colors. All realism here. This is one of my favorites right there. The lady with the cigar. It's just so incredible that people can paint like this. It does seem like it would be much more difficult to paint in a realistic style. Though, I'm not anti-abstract art. I enjoy that also. It's very creative. But I think I tend to lean more towards this style. Sometimes he would paint the women from movies. When he didn't want to pay for a model, he would just use a lady from a movie. So that right there is Claudia Cardinale, that Ron Lesser based off of a still photo of her from the movie Once Upon a Time in the West. And of course, Steve Holland there with her. I like that they broke the paperback down by series. So this is the Fargo series here. And when they get the original paintings, they blow them up in the background. It's just gorgeous. Where are we at here? Spur series. Now here's some of the later gallery paintings. Yeah, it's just a wonderful edition. All art lovers, especially paperback cover art lovers. We got volume 2 here. Volume 2 is original paintings of the sexy women and celebrities Ron has created for galleries in the most recent decades. So this is Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about contemporary media, so I'm probably not going to know what all of this stuff is, especially in the comic book world. So we got a foreword here by Joe Jusko, who is best known for his fantasy pinup and comic art. He did cover illustrations for Heavy Metal magazine in 1977 at the age of 17. I like that. Dangerous Dames. This one's titled Hot Pistol. Here's a quote from Ron Lesser. I love women. I love painting women. I painted many sexy women for book covers, hundreds of them. In the 60s and 70s, most were detective and mystery novels. I also did a lot of cover paintings with sexy women in the 80s and 90s for historical novels, thrillers, and romance novels. After my book cover markets were basically gone, I started doing paintings of sexy women for galleries and online art dealers. So he made these kind of faux covers using his old paintings. Got some provocative artwork there with the reference photos. It's the Joker, right? This is Red Sonja. Some Red Sonja artwork. Elvira. Nice Elvira painting there. Vampirella. All the classic comic babes. The Betty Page section, which we're probably not going to be able to show. That one is Impressions from a Dream. I love these full page, very colorful. Got some Maryland paintings. So yeah, classic pop culture. And then here we got The Art of Ron Lesser, Volume 1. Deadly Dames and Sexy Sirens. This is my favorite cover, which is that right there, the cover of this book, which happens to be a Steve Bentley CPA entry. So this book focuses primarily on the crime, detective, and mystery paperback covers that Ron painted in the 60s and 70s. So this one is by the era. We got some more Steve Holland there, another Western, Lead in His Fists. So that is the very first paperback cover art that he was paid for. Let's talk a little bit about the Ron Lesser's history. He was born in 1941 in New York City. He's one of the last of the golden era of paperback cover illustrators still alive. He's still working, still painting. He's done covers for Charles Ardai's Hard Case Crime. There's a image of Sophia Loren that he used for a Carter Brown cover. Gorgeous. Yeah, there's some of the Hard Case Crime covers. That is a gallery painting. It's more Maryland. Then we hit 1959. This is the beginning of his career. He studied at the New York City's High School of Music and Art. And then he went to Pratt Institute of Art. And then after that, he went to the Art Students League of New York, studying under the teacher Frank J. Riley. So these are covers where he used his wife as a model. And there's the Steve Bentley Curtains for a Lover, Robert Dietrich, which is E. Howard Hunt. But this painting is just one of my favorites. I love the stark black and the blue making it pop out. And then the pose of the woman is very subtly seductive. Yeah, this book is filled with these type of images, these type of paintings. There's the reference photo for the painting. There's another Robert Dietrich. Those are two I don't have. They are expensive probably because of the cover art. Most definitely, I don't think anyone's dying to pay tons of money for an E. Howard Hunt book. So we got some Fu Manchu. As you can see, he did art. He did covers for a lot of the publishers. There's a Midwood. There's a Dell, Fawcett, Gold Medal, Ballantine, Ace, New American Library, Signet, St. Martin's Press, Pocket Books, Harlequin, Warner, Avon. Pretty much any publisher that was around in this era, he did covers for. So here's some of his models. Lane Reynolds, I think, was one of his favorites. He did the John D. MacDonald covers. I think a lot of people mix him up with Robert McGinnis. And often the two are incorrectly labeled online. Now we're getting into the groovy era. 60s. There's some of those Gardner F. Fox, Lady from Lust books. Yeah, this one's gorgeous. And we already did a flip through, a more in-depth flip through, and you can go watch that. I'll put the link there somewhere. And yeah, all three of these books are absolutely gorgeous. They do plan on doing more, so buy these now. And then when the new ones come out, you'll be ready to pick them up as they come out. They are a wonderful addition to add to your collection at home, your home art collection. And they're nice to just pull out on a Sunday and flip through, relaxing on a nice Sunday afternoon, looking at these covers. Maybe you'll discover a book that you didn't know existed, that you gotta have it. Maybe you can use it as a checklist. You want to start collecting the Ron Lesser paperback covers? Or see what you got in your collection already. Maybe you already got a collection of Ron Lesser covers. Like I said, it's available at menspulpmags.com, also on Amazon. Thank you for watching. Thanks to Bob, Bill, and Wyatt for all that they do with these books, putting this stuff out. It's old classic paperback and men's adventure stuff. And we love it. We love them. So go support them. Pick up one of their books. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.